Hey, one good evening. This is Brian from Bear Bull Traders here. It is April 11th, Sunday. And as usual, Sunday evening, we like to take a look at the week that was and take a look ahead, see what we got coming down the pipe, try to figure out how we can position ourselves, what trades we might want to be looking at here in the coming week. And of course, this is going to be a big week. We've got a kickoff of the earnings season. As probably everybody knows, we've got a lot of the banks reporting, Goldman Sachs, the financials, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Citi to name a few. And then we've got other companies, a few other companies like Delta Airlines, which will be interesting. So I thought we had a little bit of a muted last part of the week, just because I think we're kind of gearing up for earnings season. But the Qs have definitely been on fire, technology sector. And that's basically what we had planned on, expected, and took positions in accordingly. So let's take a look at the week that was and look ahead and see where we're going.
Okay, so we'll switch it up a little bit here tonight. This is my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade. If you haven't checked it out, it's there. Check it out. And let's get down to taking a look now at some of the various indexes we got that we like to watch. You can see here the TLT. I think this is going to be one of the keys to see which direction we go, apart from some of the earnings. Obviously, the earnings and the guidance we're going to get from the companies that are reporting this week. Keeping an eye still on TLT, price of the treasuries, and of course the yields, which move in the opposite direction. So if this is looking like it's going to break out here, the price of the treasury. So if it does, that means the yields will head lower. But again, jury's out. It's a new week, and we'll see which way things start to head. But certainly if we start heading lower on this price and the yields start heading higher, it is going to be definitely a challenge for some of the stocks we have on our watch list, which I'll get to later here. But TLT, kind of a nothing day on Friday, really, inside day. Again, the 10-year is just kind of topping out here under 1.8. And again, it's just a matter of whether we're just going to consolidate, pull back, or head higher. And jury's still out on that one. We definitely are still overbought on the yields, so could be pulling in a little bit more here, which will give the more fuel to the fire here for the rest of the markets to go higher. So let's take a look at the transports, starting out with them. As I always like to do, they kind of lead the market higher on many occasions. And you can see here the day, we had a good day on Friday, but if a reversal day Thursday. The only thing I'm going to say is a lot of the volume on a lot of these indexes is not very impressive. You can see here transports all-time high again, a little bit off the high of the week, but again we're up 1.15% on the week and getting into really overbought territory here, getting up close to 80 on the RSI. Stochastics showing really overbought, so I'm not sure how much higher we can go here. Again, the Dow on a day broke out on the daily new high, and probably recurring theme here. And you can see here new weekly high, up almost 2% on the week. Volume still pretty anemic, but getting into the overbought territory as well here. So the Qs, again, right up near all-time high. Is that an all-time high? High was 337.32, 337.76. So just about, certainly closed, I think, at an all-time high, up 0.61% on the day, and of course right up near all-time high on the week, and another almost 4%. So this is why we've been long TQQQs. How many Qs did I say there? But look at this volume really dropping off here on the weekly. Sort of a sign that maybe the institutions aren't buying in as much as the retail trader, but there's just no sellers, so prices can go higher, no question. You can see here a histogram turning back up again, or the stochastics are turning back up, so we might just be heading higher here as long as the yields cooperate. The SPY breaking out here. Again, we're getting overbought on the daily chart. And on the weekly, again, getting a little overbought here, up to 0.7% on the week. Volume dropping off. Again, we're getting pretty extended here. So maybe we'll have a couple days here as we wait to get into some of the guidance and the earnings, we'll have some sort of chop in the first day or two in the week. IWM, the small caps, really the only one that's kind of lagging now. I kept saying that about the Qs about a couple weeks ago, and they caught up. So maybe we're going to play some catch up with the IWM index as well. This is the one that probably has the best potential to run anyway. Again, volume pretty light here. Stochastics right in the middle, or RSI right in the middle at the 50 level. Again, histogram on MACD, we're just flattening right out here. You can say the Stokes are above the 50 level, so good chance we could be going higher. We're making a series of higher lows here. 1, 2, 3. So if we, hopefully we'll see if we can break out here to a new high, or at least clear this high, and then we'll be challenging, of course, this level up here on the IWM. On the week, we are actually down. The only index that was actually down in the week, about 0.5% here. So again, volume pretty light. Was pretty overbought here, so maybe just doing a little bit of a pullback. The dollar, we had a pretty horrendous week. If you were a bull, the dollar last week really has sold off, and we pulled back into an area where there should be some support. We'll see what happens. Gold certainly did well last week, and that was probably a reflection of the weakening dollar in part. And Bitcoin looks like we're putting in a real ascending triangle here. You can see here, here's the top line of the triangle, and here's this ascending line, and every time we're coming back we're making a pretty much a higher low, and it looks like we're on the verge of starting to break out here. Volume again pretty light on Bitcoin, so keep an eye on Bitcoin if you're a Bitcoin holder. That's not me, but yeah, it's looking pretty good for a breakout here. So on the actives, let's take a quick look at what we've got going on here. I did take some 130 Apple calls here midweek, and you can see here we're breaking out nicely. They basically expire at the end of this coming week, so I'll probably be selling some more of those as we get early in the week here. Take advantage of that time premium before that leaks away too much, but Apple's been on a real tear, along with some of the other ones like Microsoft and Facebook. Ford, I'm still in these long leaps, although I did sell a little bit more. They don't expire until 2022. Facebook, so everyone knows, I had a 300 call on from early last week and sold most all of it because it expired on Friday, so I sold all of it, but had an incredible run on that Facebook breakout. That was a really nice trade. And Tesla, after they reported earnings here on the 5th, not earnings, they reported deliveries, sold off on that number. So I sold some 700 calls naked. It was a little bit of a risky trade, but when you see a kind of a reaction like that after a known report that's coming, I kind of figured it wasn't going to pop back up, so it was probably just going to stay weak or muted, and so those 700 calls expired worthless, and I kept a couple thousand in my bank account. So that trade worked out really well. Willow, here we go. I'm still in this one. It's really a long-term hold. So let's go through some stocks that we're watching here fairly quickly. Let's see, AI, I know has been on some people's radar. You can see here, someone was asking me, is this a double bottom? Still not liking the looks of this, although it does, it's obviously setting up at this point for a double bottom. But on the weekly, we still we closed at a new low here. So I'm on the fence as to whether this is going to be a double bottom or if we are going to continue lower. But if it can hold this sort of 60-50 level, then yeah, we could get back up to maybe this moving average around 70. Stochastics are heading lower again here, which gives me pause to believe that maybe the bottom is not in yet. Let's take a look here. What else we got? This has been one of those stocks that's gotten caught up in this family trust blow up. It does look like it's putting in a bit above the bottom here. It's trying to hold on to this 40 level, and we could start to, now that all this selling maybe is starting to sort of subside, let's say, it looks like it's trying to hold 40, which is of course an area where we broke out and then pulled back, consolidated, and went higher here. So maybe we're going to get a hold here at 40 again, and you can see here volumes dropping off. So I think a lot of the selling is done. You can see MACD curling here, so it might be worth, could either sell some 40 calls depending on how, or some 40 puts. You know, that would be if you wanted to really take a risk and go naked on them, but or you could cover them with another down on there. I don't know what the puts and calls are, the premium you're paying on them right now, but it definitely looks like it's trying to hold 40. That's what I'm trying to say here. Fuel cell, again, this is a stock that'll do well as long as interest rates start to pull back a bit, and the rates, that is, on the treasuries. And so we are looking like we're trying to hold here at around the 12 level. So it might be a good place to take an entry. One thing I don't like, stochastics turning down here, volumes kind of very muted. So again, I can use a tight stop on 12 because if it breaks there, it could be going down to 10 in short order. FCN, I was looking at this one. I did a bit of a short on it when it was really getting extended here. It's coming back up again. Again, I'd be looking at it possibly for a double top on this. It's still looking really overbought here. FTCH, this is again, I was looking at this one because we're kind of forming a pennant here. And I've got alerts set on both sides, so we'll see which way this one breaks, because usually these pennants will either break to the upside or downside. In the case of this, you know, when you've got a trend that's heading down, quite often the resolution is in the direction of the larger trend, and the larger trend right now is to the downside. But we'll keep an eye on that. You don't take a trade on this until you get a clear indication which direction it's going. You can see stochastics kind of leveling out here, so it's I think the jury's out under which direction this is gonna move to. LABU, I'm liking at this one for a double bottom maybe. Again, volume was pretty brisk on Friday, given that everything else was kind of muted. But I like where it is right now, and we've had quite the drop from the highs we had back in February. What a massive drop here. But maybe we're going to be finding a bottom in LABU. Again, keep an eye on the stochastics. When it gets down below here, maybe we'll get a pop. So I like to watch these stochastics as a leading indicator for where we're going. Lumber liquidators looks like it's ready to break out. We've got the top line here. We've got an ascending triangle, so every lower high or higher lows looks like it wants to break out. 27, a close above there would be good. PLTR, again, something that looks like it's trying to hold here. Plug, again, looks like it's trying to hold here. So I think a lot of these are going to depend on, you know, the interest rates. Rocket looks like it's trying to hold here. There's lots of stocks that are looking like we're putting in some bases here. TAN, again, the solar space, could be a good space to get back in after we had this huge run up and now we've had this big pullback. You know, still got the infrastructure bill coming, which I believe a lot of green energy is going to be in there. And oil, again, this is a pennant that's forming here, again, looking for a break one way or another. And of course, that's going to, depending on which way it goes, you can play XLE. Stochastics are starting to hook up here. Overall, it's been a nice trend up. Let's just see where it goes. So let's end where we just take a look at the futures, see where we're headed right now. You can see here we're gapping down a little bit on everything. The only thing that's kind of showing at least almost a flat open is the Russell, so the small caps. Everything's, well, NASDAQ's actually down a little bit more than would have expected, but again, it's still early. Who knows what's going to happen. Let's take a look quickly at some of the commodities. You can see oil's up a little bit, gold's down a little bit, same with silver. You can see here some of the yields are up just a bit, nothing really to write home about, nothing to get excited about, pretty much flat. So yeah, so it looks like right now we're heading for a bit of a down open, not really anything big to speak of, but it's still early and we'll see what happens as we get closer to the market open. And speaking of the market open, of course, we're there at 8 o'clock. Starts out at the Engineering the Markets with Jared at 8 a.m. and then live on YouTube, of course, is that's where Jared is. And then, of course, we've kicked things off with a pre-market show, Norm and Carlos at 8:30 live on YouTube. So hopefully you can join us there. And that's it. Have a great rest of the evening or weekend, what's left of it. And hopefully we'll see you in the morning. And of course, we'll be trading the market open at 9:30. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. Bye for now.